It has certainly been a bit of a week of drama in my life. So we are Wednesday morning, 19th of the 7th, 2023. And on Monday morning, the 17th of the 7th, I had some next-gen Clearview mirrors, towing mirrors fitted to my next-gen Wildtrak. So I ordered them back in the end of June, last week in June. I asked old mate then, will these cameras need recalibrating? I said, I changed the windscreen in the previous car and it needed recalibrating, and it became quite a drama. No, he said, they're just plug and play. It'll take about an hour to fit. And from the way he was talking, I assumed they'd fitted some already. So on the Saturday before I got them fitted, I stumbled across a video on the tube about a guy fitting his next-gen mirrors to his next-gen Wildtrak. And somehow or some way, he didn't mention it in the video either, but somehow or some way I got redirected to the Clearview website. And it said that once you disconnect that camera, there'll be an engine fault code come up, and the cameras will need recalibrating by a Ford technician. I assume the software sits in the Ford computers or cloud, Ford cloud, and that cost will be mine. So I fully understand that that's no big issue. But just in case, and on the off chance that my contact at Ford was reading emails on a Saturday morning, he has in the past, I just thought I'd ask if I changed my mind. I just took these mirrors from who I'd ordered them off and brought it to Ford. Could they fit them? And the car was already booked in the next day for some warranty items. Unfortunately, he never got back to me, and I teetered around that decision across the weekend and decided, oh well, I'll let these blokes fit them. They'd looked after me before in the past with work cars, so away we went. So I logged in there 7 o'clock, 7:30 Monday morning. Before I handed over the keys, we went out and inspected the car because I am incredibly fussy in how I look after my gear and vehicles. There's no scuff marks, no marks anywhere on the car. We agreed that was the case. I asked him again about the calibration and the engine fault codes. He said no, they're plug and play, and I assumed, and you should never assume, that they possibly had access to the Ford software because they do the Clearview stuff. And he said no problems at all, just plug and play. So the reason I thought that may be the case is that Clearview and Ford developed this generation of mirrors for this generation of cars. So I thought the software may have been shared as well. You should never assume. He said it'll be finished by about 10, so I wandered off down the street, got a bit of exercise and did a few things. And I came back at 10 o'clock and nobody spoke to me, so I made myself comfortable in their camping chairs. And at about 11 AM, he came out and he said to me, we've had a bit of a problem. The job's going all right, but we've broken one of your old mirrors. I thought, oh, okay, it's not really going that all right then. But I can order one of them, and I said, well, I'll obviously need that when I go and sell the car, so I'll need to do that. So off he went. About 12 o'clock he comes out again and he said, look, we've been having some trouble. The heat sensor, temperature sensor wire had fallen down inside the mirror, and apparently it does that. We've been on the phone to Clearview and we're just finishing it up now. Then he comes out at about 1:15 and says, well, there is a problem. We've got an engine fault code and the cameras will need to be recalibrated. I'm gathering he got that from Clearview. If I was smart enough in checking Ford Pass or had the notifications enabled out of Ford Pass, I'd have known before old mate had actually got around the end of the bench to come and see me. So given that I was at Ford the next day for some other warranty stuff, I said, right, I'll deal with that. So I'd videoed the car before they took possession of it. We went out and inspected it again, and it doesn't look like I've looked hard enough. It appears I've gained a chip work on the door, and there's a bit of a nasty scuff mark on some of the rubber moulding that is part of the guide for the passenger window. So that was disappointing. I didn't look hard enough then, so I've got to assume responsibility for that. So I emailed Ford as soon as I got home, obviously, and they said yes, they could fit that calibration in. So we head down to Ford on Tuesday morning, and on the way down I noticed I had no temperature readout at all on either screen. So well, maybe once they clear this fault code, that temperature comes back on. The service people kind of thought the same, and I haven't paid for this yet, and I don't know what it's going to cost, but so Ford had to pull the mirrors off again and reconnect or connect properly or connect the temperature sensor wires, which is quite disappointing. And of course we couldn't calibrate it because the weather wasn't clear enough, so you need clear weather to calibrate these things. So I spent all day in Brisbane yesterday, and I have to go back on Friday. Hopefully it's clear and we'll calibrate these cameras. So I'm not someone that gets angry. Anger's a wasted emotion, but so I look back and I'm also someone that takes responsibility for my actions. So if I look back over that chain of events, I should have pulled out and just taken delivery of the mirrors. I still got a couple of weeks up my sleeve. I surely could have got Ford to fit them within that couple of weeks. I had a price from Ford to fit them, and of course I thought it was expensive at the time, but now Ford's price also included the calibration. I should have asked that question. It was a disappointing day all round, to be honest, or a disappointing 2 days all round. They haven't charged me yet. I've got a good relationship with them, so they let me come home yesterday. I'm assuming that I'll be $500 or $600 out of pocket, minus the 176 calibration, plus some damage to the car that others might not seem significant, but any damage to the car, to my car, is significant to me, so it's reasonably quite annoying. When old mate came out and he told me about, I said, haven't you fitted one of these before? He said, yeah, we fitted plenty. He said, but this is the first one with this at this level, so heated mirrors, temperature sensors in the mirrors, cameras in the mirrors, and something else on the Wildtrak, and the XLT with the 3 litre, and no doubt the Platinum and the Wildtrak X. And he said, oh gee, technology. Of course the blind spot indication in the mirror is the other bit of technology to wire up. Well, I wish I would have asked more questions prior to me getting the job done. Anyway, I can't go back. I don't know what it costs to paint a panel, and even the 5.5 to 6 hours to fit it, you know, I do have a bit of time these days, and I'm more than happy to be involved with the training of people who've got to learn somewhere, somehow. And I'm told the Clearview instructions are impeccable that come with the mirrors. But you need to be honest with me and tell me that, well, this is the first one, this might take a while. You need to give my car back, or my gear back, in the same condition that I gave it to you. Now, my issue is I didn't inspect it thoroughly enough when I took back delivery of it, so I'm going to have to assume responsibility for that. The video before, I didn't walk far enough around the left-hand side of the car to take in where that damage is. I noticed in the video I took of the after they'd had it, that there was a significant scuff mark on that rubber moulding. On closer inspection, I've also found the that chip mark, which I'll now have to live with unless I want to repaint that panel. Always learning, never stop learning. I have penned a letter to the owner, and it's unlike me to pen a letter. I'd usually just flick off an email, but I can't find an email for the place anywhere, so I can't figure out what the email, how they structure their emails, first name dot or whatever at, and all I've got's a sales at email, and I'm not about to use a sales at email because who knows where that goes, and then who knows how the story gets wherever. Anyway, that's my experience to date on the Clearviews. They are on the car. Hopefully they'll be calibrated on Friday. Friday's the 21st. And hopefully that will be the end of that. Except for the damage that will stay with me forever, of course, or